We have a word for that in Finland.
Sisu! We might have a problem.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 action film Sisu. The film is written and directed by Jalmari Helander and it stars Jorma Tommila, Askell Hennie and Jack Doolan. Now the film is set right at the end of the Second World War. The Nazis essentially have lost and they're kind of this film is like set in Finland and they are exiting the country, but on their way out they are kind of using their scorched earth tactics. You know, they know they've lost, but they're burning everything as they leave. And we meet a character called Atame, who is an ex-Finnish commander, a one-man death squad, we learn in the film, who enjoyed hunting down Russians, who is now a gold miner, a prospector. And he discovers, much to his own delight, that he has found an awful lot of gold. But it is a long, long trek to take it anywhere to sell it. And he, unfortunately for a group of Nazis, they happen upon him, discover that he's got gold, attempt to steal it, which Atame is not going to stand for, and he starts a one-man war with the remaining Nazis exiting. Right, what are my thoughts on Sisu? Well, this film is not a film I heard much about. You know, certainly a few months ago. I didn't know much about it, and at first glance you might look at it and think it just seems like quite a low budget, gritty, foreign action film. And in actual fact it's kind of not that, is what I'm trying to say. This film was kind of exploded really, because it's kind of caught on. A lot of people have kind of noticed that this film is pretty exceptional in many ways. It is it's a hard film to describe actually. I've tried to put a lot of thought into this one and I've kind of struggled. I always kind of gripe and bemoan when I watch like a lot of movies, especially action movies, that there's nothing original in them, there's nothing creative in them, and it's the same old, you know, tick boxing exercise with a lot of you know action films today. And this film is kind of one of those films that comes along every once in a while that breathes a little bit of energy and life back into a genre. Now, the John Wick films have been doing that for years for action films, you know, maintaining their excellence as the films have gone on and continue to breathe new life into the genre. And occasionally you need something else to come along, like we had Nobody, was it last year or the year before, with him from Better Call Saul in it, and things like that, you know, where they're trying to do something creative with the genre. And we've got another one here. This one is an absolute gem of a film. It's wondrously enjoyable. It's wildly over the top with its action and gore and violence. But at the same time, it manages to feel grounded and gritty, and it doesn't feel like, you watch some action films and they're so way over the top, you still enjoy them but you just can't necessarily take them seriously, while this film still wants you to kind of take it seriously. It's got that edge to it, it's got that grittiness to it. You know, it's not, you know, you see a lot of action films today and they're flashy and they're lit beautifully and they're all neon and, you know, film noirish and slick. This is the very opposite of all of those things. So imagine John Wick without the polish. And that's a pretty good idea of what Sisu is. It's almost like if you took John Wick out of the modern films and put him in the Second World War, and he was 20 years older, sort of thing. That's kind of what you're getting here with this. I mean, the action here is absolutely relentless and brutal, but so enjoyable. It's so wonderfully choreographed, and they do a much like John Wick. You know, in the first John Wick film, you know, when the guy told the story about the Baba Yaga sort of thing and the boogeyman and how he built up this massive reputation. And at the end of that speech, you had this feeling of, oh boy, they're in trouble. A similar thing happens here when these Nazis discover who this guy is. We get not only the story from the Nazi about his history and who he is and what he's done and how many potential confirmed kills he may have, but we also get like there's a load of women that have been abducted by these Nazis in back of one of the trucks, and they're Finnish, they're from Finland, and they all know the stories of this guy as well, and they reinforce that story by telling some Nazis in the back of the truck what they can expect from this guy. So it really builds up this almost like this legend, and when you look at the guy, you just it's one of those films where you look at him and he just doesn't look like he could do any of the things that he's doing in this film, but his will and determination just gets him through. You know, the stories they tell of him that he's immortal and things like that, and then one of the women says no, he's not immortal, he just refuses to die, and he gets absolutely battered in the film. You know, he gets set on fire, he gets shot, hanged. Literally, the Nazis do literally everything they can think of, and everything at their disposal to take this guy out, and he just refuses to stop. He just keeps moving on, forward, and every time he moves forward, he takes out more Nazis. And it sounds as bonkers. It sounds bonkers, and it is bonkers, but rarely do you have, I think, such a good time with an action film like this. And there are moments as well where it felt quite Tarantino-ish in its presentation. Inglourious Bastards type presentation, or and sometimes some of the dialogue and things like that. And this character of Sisu says nothing. Only a couple of words or a sentence, I suppose, at one point in the film. And it's just brilliant. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, it's a foreign language film, it's not. The Germans speak English. 90% of the cast speak English in this film. There's a little bit of foreign language in it. But it is a film that you can definitely enjoy. Because I know some people out there are a bit like, oh, I don't want to watch a foreign language film, it's not for me. Trust me, if you're a fan of action films, this film is for you. It's wonderfully original, massively over the top, but a film that when it's finished, you're kind of like, wow, that is something new, that is something different, and I would definitely want to see more of that. So yeah, check out Sisu, guys. It's definitely worth going on the ride for this one. So thank you very much for watching.